Most drivers don't know their engine is running to hot until they see steam coming out from under the hood and pull over in a panic. By that point, the damage is already happening. But here's the thing. Your engine doesn't just overheat without warning. It gives you signs. 6 of them, and they happen in a specific order, starting subtle and getting more serious. The drivers who catch this early walk away with a $150 repair bill. The drivers who miss it or ignore it end up with a warped cylinder head, a blown head gasket, or in the worst cases, an engine that's done. Today I'm going to walk you through all 6 signs, what each one actually means, and exactly what to do the moment you spot any of them. This is information that can save your engine and save you thousands of dollars. Pay attention. Before we get into the signs, I want to make sure you understand what normal actually looks like. A healthy engine operates between 195 and 220 degrees Fahrenheit. That range might sound hot, but it's the temperature range where your engine runs most efficiently, where the oil maintains the right viscosity, where combustion happens cleanly, and where the cooling system is working exactly as designed. The cooling system, your radiator, water pump, thermostat, coolant, and cooling fans, exists specifically to keep the engine inside that window. When any part of that system fails, or when the engine generates more heat than the system can manage, temperatures climb above 220 degrees, and things start going wrong very quickly. The damage isn't always immediate and catastrophic. Sometimes it builds over minutes. But the faster you recognize the warning signs and respond, the better your chances of walking away without a major repair bill. Sign number 1 is the most direct warning your car can give you, and it's right in front of your face, on the dashboard. The temperature gauge. Every car on the road has one, and a surprising number of drivers never actually watch it. They glance at the speedometer, they check the fuel level, but the temperature gauge sits there ignored until something goes wrong. Here's how to read it properly. The needle should sit somewhere in the middle of its range during normal driving, usually pointing straight up or slightly below center, depending on the vehicle. That middle zone is your normal operating range. If the needle starts drifting noticeably toward the hot end, toward the red zone or the H marking, that is your engine telling you the cooling system is being overwhelmed. It's not a casual observation. It's a warning that needs your immediate attention. A lot of drivers make the mistake of thinking the temperature gauge only matters if the needle hits the red. That's wrong. If the needle is climbing above, where it normally sits, even if it hasn't hit the red yet, you should be paying close attention. Turn off the air conditioner immediately. The AC compressor puts extra load on the engine and adds heat. If you're in traffic and can't pull over right away, one of the most effective emergency measures is to turn your heater on full blast. This sounds counterintuitive, but your car's heater works by pulling heat out of the engine coolant, running it on maximum forces, the cooling system to dump heat into the cabin instead of letting it build in the engine. It's uncomfortable, but it can buy you minutes to find a safe place to stop. If the needle continues rising toward red despite turning off the AC and running the heat, find a safe place to pull over and shut the engine off. Every minute you keep driving with a climbing temperature gauge increases the risk of serious damage. Some newer vehicles replace the traditional temperature gauge with a warning light, a symbol that looks like a thermometer with wavy lines beneath it. If that light comes on while you're driving, treat it exactly the same way. Pull over safely, turn the engine off, and let it cool down before you check anything. Never open the radiator cap. On a hot engine, the cooling system is pressurized, and opening the cap while the engine is hot can cause boiling coolant to erupt under pressure and cause severe burns. Wait at least 30 to 45 minutes after shutting the engine off before you touch anything on the cooling system. Sign number 2 is something a lot of drivers notice but don't immediately connect to overheating. A sweet smell coming from the engine or the area near the front of the car. Some people describe it as maple syrup. Some say butterscotch. Others just say it smells strangely sweet and chemical at the same time. What you're smelling is engine coolant. Coolant is made primarily from ethylene glycol, which has a distinctive sweet smell when it's heated or burning. If you catch that smell while driving, through your vents, or when you get out of the car, it means coolant is escaping from somewhere it shouldn't be. It's either leaking onto a hot surface and burning off, or it's escaping from the cooling system under pressure through a failing hose. A leaking radiator a cracked reservoir, or in more serious cases, a failing head gasket. This smell is never normal. It is always a sign that something in the cooling system has failed, or is about to fail. A minor coolant leak from a hose or a loose clamp might not cause immediate overheating, but it means the coolant level is dropping. And the cooling system depends on having the correct amount of coolant to function properly. A system that starts slightly low on coolant will run hotter than normal. A system that gets significantly low will overheat. The sweet smell is your first indication that something is leaking. Catch it early and you might be looking at a hose replacement or a clamp tightening. Ignore it until the coolant level drops enough to cause a real overheating event, and you're looking at much more significant damage. When you smell that sweet coolant odor, check your coolant level at the reservoir tank as soon as the engine is cool. The reservoir is usually a translucent plastic tank near the radiator with min and max markings on the side. If the level is low, at the correct coolant for your vehicle, check your owner's manual for the type, because mixing different coolant types can cause issues. Then find and fix the source of the leak before driving the vehicle any significant distance. If you can't identify where the leak is coming from, have a shop do a cooling system pressure test. This test pressurizes the system and makes leaks visible quickly. It typically costs $50 to $100 and is the right starting point when you can't find an obvious source. Sign number 3 is steam. Steam coming from under your hood is a pullover right now emergency. No exceptions. What's happening is that the coolant temperature has exceeded its boiling point, which in a properly maintained system with the right coolant mixture is typically between 223 and 240 degrees Fahrenheit. When coolant boils, it converts to steam, and that steam has to go somewhere. It comes out around hoses, from the overflow tank, from under the hood. If you see steam while driving, get to the right side of the road safely and shut the engine off. Don't try to make it to the shop. Don't try to make it home. Every minute you drive after seeing steam is a minute the engine is operating at a temperature that can warp aluminum cylinder heads, damage piston rings, destroy gaskets, and in extreme cases crack the engine block. Here's why this matters so much from a cost perspective. The difference between pulling over the moment you see steam and continuing to drive for even 5 or 10 minutes more can be the difference between a $200 coolant system repair and a $2,000 to $4,000 cylinder head job. Aluminum cylinder heads, which are standard on the vast majority of modern engines, start to warp when temperatures get significantly above their design range. A warped head means the head gasket can no longer seal properly. A failed head gasket means coolant mixing with oil, compression loss, white smoke from the exhaust, and an engine that needs the heads removed, machined, and reinstalled. That's a major repair that takes a professional multiple days and costs accordingly. Catch it at the steam stage by pulling over immediately, and the underlying cause might be something as simple as a failed thermostat or a split hose. Repairs that cost a fraction of the damage they'd cause if ignored. After you've pulled over and let the engine cool for at least 30 to 45 minutes, check the coolant level in the reservoir. If it's significantly low, you can carefully add coolant or distilled water to get the level back up before attempting to drive anywhere. But understand that this is a temporary measure. The reason the coolant got low, the leak, the failing component, still needs to be found and fixed. If you can't see an obvious leak and the coolant level looks reasonable, the steam might have come from the overflow as pressure released through the cap. Start the engine and watch the temperature gauge carefully. If it starts climbing again quickly, shut it off and call for a tow. Don't attempt to drive a vehicle that's actively overheating to a shop, because you risk causing the kind of damage that no repair can undo at a reasonable cost. Sign number 4 is a sound, a ticking or clicking noise coming from the engine that either wasn't there before or has gotten noticeably louder. This one is directly connected to what heat does to your engine oil. Engine oil is responsible for approximately 40 to 42% of your engine's cooling. On top of its primary job of lubrication, it circulates through the engine, picks up heat from bearings and other components, carries it back to the oil pan where it cools slightly, and circulates again. When an engine runs significantly above its normal operating temperature, the oil's viscosity drops. It becomes thinner than it was designed to be. Thinner oil doesn't maintain the protective film between moving metal surfaces as effectively. The critical oil film that separates your crankshaft bearings, your connecting rod bearings, and your valve train components from direct metal contact becomes thinner and less capable of doing its job. When that happens, you start hearing it. Ticking and clicking sounds from the engine under heat conditions are a sign that metal components are running with less oil cushion between them than they should have. It often sounds like the valve train, the top of the engine, and in many cases it is. As oil thins from excess heat, the hydraulic lifters that keep valve timing precise lose their ability to maintain proper clearance. This creates noise. It also creates wear. If the engine is running so hot that the oil is severely degraded in its ability to lubricate, you're compounding the heat damage with friction damage simultaneously. The ticking might also come from lower in the engine, from bearing surfaces that are running in degraded oil. And in those cases it's a more serious warning of imminent damage. A ticking noise that appears or worsens when the engine is hot, and particularly one that accompanies a rising temperature gauge, is a sign to shut the engine down and have it diagnosed before driving further. It might be something as straightforward as low oil level. Check your dipstick immediately if you hear this sound. Or it might be an indication that the engine has already suffered some heat-related, where that needs to be evaluated. Either way, running the engine and ignoring this sound, while the temperature is above normal, is a combination that accelerates damage very rapidly. Sign number 5 is something more subtle than the previous ones, and it's especially easy to miss because it happens gradually. Loss of power. When your engine is running to hot, you'll notice it takes more throttle than usual to maintain speed. Acceleration feels sluggish. The car seems less responsive than normal. Merging onto the highway takes longer. Climbing a grade takes more effort. There's a physical reason for this. As engine temperature rises above normal, pistons expand inside their cylinder bores. As they expand, they create more friction against the cylinder walls, which slows the crankshaft's rotation and reduces the engine's mechanical output. The engine control module, the computer managing the engine, also detects the elevated temperature and begins making protective adjustments, pulling back ignition timing and reducing fuel delivery to lower combustion temperatures. These are protective measures, not failures, but the result is noticeably reduced performance. If you're on the highway and suddenly notice your car isn't pulling the way it normally does, especially if this is accompanied by any of the other signs on this list, check your temperature gauge immediately. A performance drop on its own could have many causes, but a performance drop combined with a temperature gauge that's climbing above normal, or with a sweet smell, or with steam, that combination tells a clear story. The engine is protecting itself from damage by reducing output. Help it along by reducing the load you're putting on it. Get off the highway if you can. Ease off the throttle. Turn off the AC, and find a place to safely pull over and let the engine cool down. The 6th sign is the one that tells you the situation may have already moved from early warning to damage may have occurred, and it shows up in the exhaust. White smoke or steam coming from your exhaust pipe, particularly after the engine has been running for a few minutes and should be fully warmed up, is a strong indicator that coolant is getting into the combustion chamber. This happens when a head gasket fails, the gasket that seals the boundary between the cylinder head and the engine block, keeping oil and coolant in their separate passages and out of the combustion chamber. When that gasket fails from overheating damage, coolant finds its way into the cylinders, where it burns and exits as white or greyish-white smoke from the exhaust. This is a serious symptom that requires immediate diagnosis. White exhaust smoke that persists after full warm-up, combined with a sweet smell from the tailpipe, is a near-certain sign of coolant in the combustion chamber. You might also notice the oil on your dipstick looks milky or has a grey, frothy appearance. That means coolant and oil have mixed inside the engine, which is a situation that needs to be addressed urgently. Running an engine with a failed head gasket causes ongoing damage, because oil contaminated with coolant loses its lubrication properties, and coolant in the combustion chamber can hydrolock the engine, forcing incompressible liquid into a cylinder that's trying to compress it, which can bend or break connecting rods instantly. Head gasket replacement is a significant repair. The labor alone is substantial because accessing the gasket requires removing the cylinder head. On most 4-cylinder engines, the repair runs $1,500 to $2,500 at a reputable shop. On V6 and V8 engines where both banks need to be done, the cost is higher. But here's the important context. A head gasket that fails, because of overheating, can often be caught and addressed before it causes additional damage. Catch it with white exhaust smoke and a temperature gauge warning. Address it promptly, and you're looking at the gasket replacement. Let it go while continuing to drive, contaminating the oil, losing coolant, running the engine with compromised lubrication, and you may be looking at damaged bearings, scored cylinder walls, and an engine that needs far more than a gasket. Now let's talk about why engines overheat in the first place, because understanding the cause is how you prevent this from happening again. The most common cause is low coolant level, coolant that's leaked out through a hose, a radiator, a water pump seal, or a head gasket, leaving the cooling system unable to transfer heat effectively. A thermostat stuck in the closed position is another frequent culprit. The thermostat is a small valve that opens when the engine reaches operating temperature to allow coolant to flow through the radiator and cool down. When it sticks closed, coolant stays trapped in the engine and temperatures climb quickly. A thermostat is a cheap part, typically $20 to $50, but the problems it causes when it fails can be very expensive if they're not caught promptly. A failed cooling fan is a cause that catches many drivers off guard because the symptoms are specific. When you're driving at speed, air flows through the radiator naturally and handles most of the cooling load. But when you're idling or moving slowly, stopped at a light, sitting in traffic, the electric fan mounted behind the radiator is responsible for pulling air through. If that fan motor fails or the relay controlling it burns out, temperatures climb specifically during low-speed driving and idling. You might notice the temperature gauge is fine on the highway, but rises every time you stop. That specific pattern is a strong indicator of a cooling fan problem. Fan motor replacement is typically $200 to $450 depending on the vehicle, and it's a straightforward repair that prevents a lot of expensive damage. A water pump that's failing causes cooling problems because the entire circulation of coolant through the system depends on the pump moving it. Signs of a failing water pump include a high-pitched whining or grinding noise from the front of the engine, coolant leaking from the pump's weep hole, and overheating that's consistent regardless of driving conditions. Water pump replacement typically runs $300 to $750 in labor and parts on most common vehicles. Here's your action plan. Watch your temperature gauge every time you drive, not obsessively, but make it a habit to glance at it regularly, along with your speedometer. Know what normal looks like for your specific vehicle so you recognize immediately when something has changed. Check your coolant level monthly. It takes 30 seconds at the reservoir when the engine is cold. If the level is dropping between checks, find and fix the source of the leak before it becomes a bigger problem. If you ever smell that sweet coolant smell, check the level and book a pressure test. If you ever see steam, pull over immediately. If you ever see white exhaust smoke that persists after warm-up, have the system checked before driving further. These are not overreactions. They're the appropriate responses to signs that your engine is giving you before damage gets serious. The engine in your car can handle a lot, but it cannot handle sustained overheating without consequences. The damage from running to hot, warped heads, blown gaskets, scored cylinders, damaged bearings is real, it's expensive, and it's preventable if you know what to look for. The 6 signs we covered today are the engine's early warning system. It's trying to tell you something is wrong before it's too late. Pay attention to it. If this video helped you understand what your car is telling you, hit the like button. It helps reach other drivers who need this information before they get an expensive surprise. Drop a comment and tell me which of these signs you've experienced and what ended up causing it. I read every single comment. Subscribe if you want more honest, practical car information delivered straight. A lot more is coming.